So transition, I think people agree that the economy has to transition, right? The society has to transition, no doubt about it. And when we say just transition, people will say that's exactly what we need. You don't want stranded people. You want the entire society to become greener. But when I say, or when we discuss about brown economy to become greener, all of a sudden you say, oh, that's greenwashing, right? But as we heard from Yuki earlier, unless we deal with the stock of coal power plants, there's no way, and as Jack, you mentioned, there's no way we can accelerate energy transition. Energy transition meaning basically you need to scrap the old one and you need to build a new one. However, as Yuki said, we need to deal with this stock, but stock has to be somehow dealt with the flow. New flow of money flowing into this stock and somehow phase down, or we need to renew so that this will produce electricity with less emissions. And how do we do that? We need to create a money flow into this type of assets. However, if the stakeholder criticize this as a greenwashing, nobody will do it. And the problem is there anybody else? If the government or ADB, the World Bank, if you have the sufficient money, and if you kind of come in and say, oh, don't worry, but the private sector will deal with it, that's great. But there's no such money, right? I don't think the ADB or the World Bank or the government in total can afford that the financing to the brown sector and to become greener. So I think it's all about transition financing. So to some extent, this is a complementary to the green investment or sustainable investment. Of course, you need more financing to taxonomy-aligned activities or green, however you want to call it. But at the end of the day, we need the whole of economy to transition to a sustainable future. And to do that, you can't ignore the fact that you're only looking at the tip of the iceberg when we talk about green investment, and somebody has to deal with the rest of the iceberg, and we think it's the bank and all the private investor, the private financial institution who can deal with the rest of the iceberg, and that's what I mean by transition. So it's about the whole of economy as opposed to just looking at the tip of the iceberg.